Welcome to another video of me reviewing my old work, and this time I'm trying to make it shorter without actually showing when I'm tweaking and editing to explain things, because I check my algorithms and analytics to see how much people are watching and paying attention. So I thought, instead of using 30 minutes, which I already did, I already recorded a 30-minute session where I was editing this. But then I figured, no, I'll just make it short and just show you two versions. So the one to the left is the before, it kind of says on top of here. And I did it, this was the first one I did for Unreal Lighting, when I tried learning Unreal Lighting seriously. So a lot of things happening here. You can see it's pretty flat, it's pretty dark. I'm trying to have a directional light with the fog, and it didn't really work out well. And then I added too much fog and fog sheet, and it kind of removed the background. Now I can't do anything with that right now for this piece, but I can change the color and the tone. Obviously my style is changing over time, my preferences are changing over time, and I'm making this video also based on my own personal taste and opinion, obviously, but I'm also trying to point out the principles. So I'm keeping the framing here, that's why I chose this composition. I'm framing this area, and I'm trying to use this as a leading line, as I said, and this also goes up as a circle spiral of leading line. So this a quick edit here. You can see I've chosen a bit warmer color, I've desaturated a little bit, I've made the shadows on the walls more visible, so you can see the shapes and the creases a bit more. I've highlighted the ground a bit and generally put some more highlight in the middle here, so the eye hopefully goes quicker down here as a focal point, right? So just to, if you look at the histogram here, you can see it's pretty much the same information, but it's still quite little. But it depends on your mood, obviously, but there's still enough information, there's still information going on here. You could technically try and pull it a bit out, even it a little bit out, and kind of make it pop out a little bit more and see the wall. But in this case I think it flattens out a bit too much again, because I kind of like that the foreground has some dark shadows. So I might go back and go, okay, how can I keep it somewhat dark but pop it up? So it would be maybe something like this. So what do you know, I added a little bit again. Is this perfect? No. This is just to show the principles of before and after, and things I would probably keep in mind at this stage. This was a different one and a very poor composition. There's no visibility close enough in the foreground. It's not the best lens. Fair enough, I had a leading line coming in here on the left side here, down to the right side. It's strong enough light, I suppose, here on the middle. And then I tried adding some more details with some new assets on the ground here. But generally it's also very flat. You don't really see the foreground, the background and the midground very clearly in this case either. Okay, so on the right side you see an attempt to kind of make it more clear leading line, and the hotspot could probably be even more warmer actually. And I darkened the foreground here even more, so it's more in the shadow than you can see here as well. Generally a poor piece. So let's look at the histogram and see how light information is being spread out. So you can see that it has a little bit more evenly information being spread out. Let's look at this one. This one I try editing a little bit quickly to kind of show that there's always a different way of lighting. There was nothing wrong with this one, but it's also pretty dark, and you can see it's so dark that it's spiking even during the edits. So if I were to fix this edit even more and kind of even the light out, you would see that I would have to go quite a lot, and it will ruin the image even more. So normally when that happens, I kind of already know that I have a bad piece, and it's not a bad piece, but it's not as well as it could have been in terms of showing the shape and the form of the surrounding areas. Because if you really look closely here, you can see that I laid it pretty well enough that you could see the specular effects of the shape. So it's not poorly lit, but then in comparison you can see this one is still pretty dark. But and I put some color in as well, like a green mist in the background in the darkness here as well. So you can see the shape even more clearly, but more importantly, you see this rock here coming in on the side a bit more clearly, and you can see this one a bit more clearly. So having a look in the middle, you can see it pops even more strongly, it's more clear, right? And on the right side you see some more detail in the back here. It's not too much, but you see it still. So these are some of the changes I tried doing very quickly. Again, we are focusing on the focal point, so that's why I put this together here. This piece was put together. This is the particle cave by Epic Games, but these pieces are from somewhere else, and I built this location to kind of serve my purpose and idea. And then we have another piece here. Here you can see it's pretty dark, it's contrasty, but it doesn't necessarily have the push. You can see if I change here the information, it doesn't really go very long in terms of the information here, and it's pretty dark. But in the edit piece you can see that I managed to put in a bit more color and different color scheme, but still I can see the background a bit, and it's actually popping out the character even a bit more, right? Because it's bright back and he still is having dark clothes. But if I wanted to, obviously I could have picked him like this, I could have inverted it, and I could have tried popping him more, even a bit more, and give him maybe a cooler color and a green color to fit him more in the background. Pop up the highlight a bit to get the blacks up a bit more. You know, I'm not photoshopping, light shopping a bit correctly, but you can see that I could have done some more quick edits, obviously, to make him pop up even more. And I could do the same with this character, but it's pretty obvious. You could have maybe worked on the feet a bit more and get those shapes, get the shape here a bit more as well. So these are some of the things we could have worked with. Here the purpose of the shadow is to lead the lines, so he's pointing this way and the shadow is directing our eye towards her as well. The same goes for the pipes, these walls, they are all compositional purposes pointing towards her, right? So again, you can see the difference is pretty obvious. You see the shape, you see the color that I lost information here is now back on this area here. So in this particular case I might decide to go in, do some color here on the ground, and I don't know, try and get it back up, some of the information here. Obviously I have no idea how to use Lightroom, so that doesn't help, but Lightroom is good for me to show you guys some more better edits in terms of color and shape and form. Okay, and there we have it. That's a good one. It's not a good one, it proves my point. This was done like 2-3 years ago, I don't know, it's been a while since I've done all of these pieces. This was one of the better pieces I did. Here you can see, this one took me weeks to do, obviously, because I was learning to do the poses myself and put in the effects and create the mood of like a running army fighting, and then lighting all of them individually. So it's a lot of lights here and a big version of it. But what makes this piece the weakest, what ruins it the most, is actually the background and the color in the background and the mountains and the trees. there's a blog I have at amit.gp which has a breakdown of this, and you can see how much I try to kind of figure out. So eventually I took it off just because of the background, not necessarily because of the posing. The framing is great, it's not bad at all actually, but for this video I did spice it up a bit more. I always like this kind of popping more, so I popped it a bit more. Arguably might have made this too bright, so you are obviously losing a bit of gradient in this kind of style, so I might maybe have decided to go in a bit later again, or fix it in this case and kind of gradient it down a bit. I might do the same for this area and this area, and kind of also consider doing it this if I wanted to make them a bit dimmer. Maybe even this doesn't look good on him, this current edit, so I might have done some of these things to make him pop a bit more hair and make it gradient, right? Either way, you can see that this is a very, very clear, crisp version of it. Now if I do this, you can see it's not a bad piece. Like I said, it's a pretty good piece. It's just the background isn't good enough, and I didn't want to fix it too much. But here you can see it has a nice gradient in the old one, has a bit nice gradient coming in. So arguably, if I were to do like another edit in front of you, maybe I would just do this, pop it up a little bit, pop it up a little bit, right, and then take this away. You can see it's starting to get some more white here. Then I might draw this, and I might have said, okay, let's make it darker actually, right? And then I might have a look, right, and just check the information here. And obviously I would do more stuff obviously if I were to edit it more at this stage. So now you have an edit of an edit. So here you can see I added this again, so this has a better gradient now over this original that's older again. It has a better gradient than this edit, because this edit has a gradient but it might be too flattening on the front because he already has a pose, and you don't necessarily see that he has this pose and it's actually tilted, right? This helps create a tilt in this case. I would obviously change the sky maybe a bit and then do some edit on the ground again. So this is not a bad piece in general, but still could be better, as I've shown you already. There's two different edits here now. So hopefully this piece is interesting and this video is also interesting. Please subscribe, please like, please support, please help me with the YouTube algorithm. I will keep making some more videos and try and share my understanding and knowledge of things. If you have an opinion, you are free to share it, but this is how I perceive and how I like to do my things now. My video is never going to be perfect because I'm kind of talking as I do things without really planning. So it's just like now, I did this before the video, and then I noticed again on my shorter version that hey, it's actually getting flat here and here, and I probably should fix it. But either way, hopefully it's interesting. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day and good night.